All right, Jeremy, so you give these guys some of the nicest trucks on the road, you know, the trucks that every company driver is envious of. What do you expect of your drivers, and how do you find drivers that are going to really take care of, well, you guys put a lot of time and effort into these trucks for the company image and for the history. What do you expect from these guys?
He just offered me to drive this, by the way, to the judging line. Jeremy Gouge. Man. Let's see what this thing has. He smiled when I said that. Hopefully there won't be any trucks to merge with.
Boston Trucker here. Welcome to my channel. I hope you enjoy it. All right, first person I'm running into is Jeremy Gouge. How you doing, Jeremy?
I'm the first guy you ran into.
Pretty much.
Well,
I mean, who could be better, you know?
yeah, right.
What's going on? How you doing?
Yeah, I've got no complaints. No complaints.
Down here at Matt's 25, the day before the big show.
It's a second year for our booth. Had a really great response last year from it, and had a great time, so we thought we'd do it again.
What is the goal of having a booth there?
We really aren't here to try to solicit drivers. We just want to run into good people. And if we end up building a relationship or hire some drivers or other people, so be it. But we're here to kind of support it and just kind of hang out, really.
That's awesome. I mean, you got couches set up. You got the whole thing here.
Yeah.
So, this truck. Sorry. Oh no, go ahead.
I was just gonna say we kind of went with the American graffiti theme, you know, and just like a '60s throwback, and kind of respectful to the truck and the era that it came from. So
yeah,
that's kind of the feel.
So this truck pretty much started at the beginning of your company?
And well before that.
Can you tell me about it and we'll take a look at it?
Yeah. So my grandpa bought this truck. It was nearly new. It's a 1969, but as you can see, the cab's off of 73, the sleeper's off of 85. I mean, it's got millions and millions of miles on it.
Wow.
They just basically wore out the cab. I mean, in the 80s, had we known what we had with that 69 cab, probably we would have spent some time rebuilding it, but it was easier just to slip a different cab on it and get it back on the road, so that's what we did. The sleeper was my bedroom. The original sleeper I took off, and that was my bedroom as a kid from I think I was like 12 up until I was like 16, 17. For real.
Really?
Yeah, we lived in kind of a garage because we were living in that as we were building our house.
Yeah.
And it took longer than what it was supposed to, so I just brought the 36-inch in the garage part of it, and that was my sleeper. So
unreal.
Yeah,
that's really cool. So tell me about the family history with the company and where it started and where it's going.
It goes way back. So my grandfather bought his first truck in the mid-50s, I think 54 actually. My grandfather, all of his brothers had trucks. They pulled livestock, bulk, oil, open deck, a little bit of everything. My dad graduated high school in '69, and right out of high school he opened up a little fuel station at the corner of 69 Highway 18. And about that time the interstate went in, so it kind of dried up that.
Yeah.
So that's when my dad bought this truck from my grandfather. And actually the guy that drove this truck when it was nearly new, Marley Johnson is his name, he drove for us up until like 6-7 years ago. He's just a great family friend, still very involved with us in our business. But the company goes back to, you know, like officially probably 1980 under this DOT number. You know, deregulation was right around in that time. We're much more than trucking. We do manufacturing. We do sandblasting, painting, full service truck repair shop in most of our locations. We do storage. We do telematic installations for customers.
What are you manufacturing?
A lot of our trailers we do. Yep. Yep, we build and rebuild our own trailers, and then
Okay.
I don't want to compete with my trailers, so I just rebuild them.
That's smart.
So yeah, and then we build our own trucks as well.
Yeah, I'm seeing some still building large old school rides.
Yeah, yep. And when we can't get those hoods,
Yeah.
as we've told Kenworth, we're not turning to plastic. So
Yeah.
we're just gonna start buying 379s, 389s,
Hey.
flat glasses, and we bring them down to the frame rails, put new motors in them, new transmissions. They'll be brand new trucks when we're
That's
done.
the most respectable thing I'm probably going to hear all week.
Yeah.
You know, hey, good for you guys.
Yep.
Keeping it old school. And a guy who wants to come to work for IMT, what can they expect? You know, what kind of money, the benefits, where are they going to be running, where are they going to be hauling, where are they going to be driving?
But pretty much, we travel all 48 states. We do a little bit of Canada.
Yep.
If you want to run west, we go west. We kind of go a little bit of everywhere. Pay, we're trying to have it set up to where guys can do $2,200 a week if you're a hustler.
Nice.
So, but it's
Yeah.
really, it takes a group effort for everyone to succeed.
Yeah.
So if you're a find a way to win kind of guy, you'll win with us.
Sure.
But if you're looking for a reason to drive 7 hours a day and
Yeah.
screw around, you're not going to do very well.
So the runners are going to make money.
Always,
And
always.
yeah, that's the way it should be. And any company, there's always those slackers. You got to weed them out eventually.
Well, and that's-
or they weed themselves out.
Well, you put yourself out there like we have to, on social
Yeah.
media, and you always hear you hear a lot of great things.
Yeah.
But like naturally, we're trying to fly our flag, and you see some guys that maybe they worked for us and didn't work out.
Yeah.
Maybe we weren't good enough for them. That's possible. Who knows? I know that we have a lot of great guys that do very well. We've got guys come on that just don't make it and don't do very well. We're not a fit for everybody. We're not trying to be.
No. And sometimes people have to find that out on their own. Some people think they can handle it. They see the big rides. That's the attraction. The rides.
You know what it is?
You
It's a
know?
lot of work.
Yeah.
It's a
That's
hard
what they
job.
find out.
Yeah.
They think, oh, I fly on flatbed. I can drive big
Yep.
with a big sleeper, and then they go, oh wait, I actually got to work for a
Yeah.
living, and I got to actually stay out a couple weeks and get it done, and
Yep.
it ain't for me, And
And they're, it's like, we got to go where the freight's going. I'm not gonna.
Yeah.
I can't be in a position where I have guys telling me where they will and won't go.
Yeah.
We follow the freight. Like
Yeah.
the commitment I make is, we'll put you in a nice truck, you'll make good money, and we'll get you home when we agree on the
Right.
home time.
Yeah.
On the right out of the
I mean, it costs companies money every time a guy wants to go home every week.
It does.
So,
It does. But it's worth it. I mean,
Yeah.
you want guys to have a life.
You got to
It's
have a
critical.
life too, especially nowadays. It's different than it used to be.
Yep.
People want to be home, but it's tough having kids.
It is.
And you guys must find that out right away. The family guys it's going to be hard for them.
It's tough, and we're pretty upfront right out of the
Yeah.
gate. Like, when someone will ask me about home time, like, oh, what's home time? Like, well, where do you live? What's
Yeah.
important to you? You tell me what's important
Right.
to you. I'll tell you if I can do it or not.
Yeah.
I'm not going to tell
Yeah.
you what you want to hear to get you in one of my trucks. I don't need to. That's not
No,
what we're about.
that's not cost division for anybody.
Right.
It just leaves a lot of heartache and a lot of hurt feelings. And
Yep.
well, that's cool. Well, I hope you guys have a great show. It's great seeing you guys again. We've met up a couple times at Super Rigs.
Yeah.
Maybe we'll see you there again.
Yeah.
Who knows?
You have to ride that. You have to take that orange one for a drive so you can say that you
Yeah,
know both of them.
I'll take any truck of yours for a drive.
That's
even the
out
new
in the,
ones.
the orange one's out in the parking lot. Just we
Okay.
haven't cleaned it up yet.
I haven't been out there yet.
It's.
I heard you got a whole fleet of trucks out there.
There's a bunch of them. I didn't
Yeah.
realize how many guys were
Yeah,
coming
yeah.
down, but I'm glad it worked out.
Yeah,
Really
Chris
good.
Hammond reached out to me. We've been texting. He sent me
Oh,
some
sure.
pictures, so I got to go find him later.
Yeah, absolutely do.
All right, Jeremy. So you give these guys some of the nicest trucks on the road. The trucks that every company driver is envious of. What do you expect of your drivers, and how do you find drivers that are going to really take care of? Well, you guys put a lot of time and effort into these trucks for the company image and for the history. What do you expect from these guys?
And that's really, it gets to be a touchy subject because it's much like characteristics. Like when someone comes to work for us, like, this is who we are. This is who we're going to be next year, right? So if they interview well and do well through orientation, but then all of a sudden their whole demeanor changes, we're not going to make it very far with those guys. It's the same way in respect to the truck. Like, we have a very, very minimalistic style, and we don't like over-the-top stuff where a truck looks like 6 different trips to Walcott.
Yeah.
That's not our jam. It's a less is more thing.
Less
I don't
is
want.
more.
Window chops are for some people, not for us. We just don't want them on our trucks.
I'm not a window chops
I'm
guy
just not
either.
that guy.
Yeah.
I don't like spiked lug nut covers.
Yeah.
We run all
Yeah.
lifetime products. They're
Yeah.
family with us, right?
Yeah.
So I'm not going to have my fleet of trucks
Yeah.
running around with some of their competition's accessories on
Good
it,
point.
right?
Yeah.
Just everything. Like, listen, I'll give you a beautiful piece of equipment
Yep.
if you just take care of it. And then as guys do put in time, I let them do their own
Right.
thing to it, But
Right.
I don't want.
Some guys don't have taste.
Yeah.
And they don't know it.
Yeah,
And some guys go to the Petro and they buy all the chrome in the truck stop, and they think, my first time in a chrome shop, and it's going on my truck. But,
Yeah, they just go crazy.
You see it and you probably cringe, and it's probably a hard conversation.
I do, and then they'll want a steering wheel or I want this, you know, and I like that stuff. But like, listen, we'll buy it. I'll put it on, right? Because then if this doesn't work out, or say you take a new truck, I'm not gonna start saying, oh, this was yours, this was mine. I want everything on my truck to be mine.
If you drill a hole, it's yours.
Yeah, that's a
rule.
Yes. And our shop, you know, our shop doesn't get the love it deserves because they're just never at these events. But you want to talk about a group of guys that just straight up care. Like,
tell me about them.
We have a go no go gauge for mud flaps. You know, like I can.
What does that mean? Go and no go.
Okay, so to me, like mud flaps got to be square, right?
Yes.
I'm not saying everything's got to have a chrome weight on it, which it probably should, but they got to match. They got to be square, and not everyone can see a 1/16 of an inch over 20 foot away, like I can, or I think I can. Yeah. So we just have a gauge that you slide under the mud flaps, like make sure they're square, right? So
like a level?
Yeah. So make sure because it's flat floor, flat everything. So just slide it underneath there. Make sure the mud flaps are the same height.
I'm gonna write that down.
Just all little stuff like that. So I'm an absolute fanatic. Like if there's a nut cover missing on a trailer, I could be on my way to a board meeting or a sales meeting or whatever, and if I see a nut cover missing on a trailer, I'm like, boom, text the shop guys. Hey, trailer LT 144.
I mean, you're a rare breed, man. You know, because you see all these cookie cutter trucks now, and it just like ruins our image. And you're out there chipping away every day, trying to put a good face on trucking, and it's just so hard. You know,
I love the industry. You know, well, I love what the industry was, and I'm trying to preserve what I can. You know, I tell people our little operation is kind of an oasis of what I love about trucking. You know, it's to some people, you know, you always hear, oh, I miss the good old days. I miss the good old days. Well, so you know as well as I do. I caught the end of the 90s on my own when I could start driving, and that was like the end of the good old days. Well, kids now are going to think 2012 was the good old days. You know, so if we do a good job showing them that trucking can still be cool, right? You get kids to fall in love with these trucks, and you get them to fall in love with the industry, right?
Absolutely.
But there's no kid that's going to fall in love with a Volvo, right? I mean, that's just how it is. So
do you find that you get younger guys who maybe grew up on a farm, you know, drove trucks, you know, that you try to bring on board and get them going in the industry?
Yeah, but also not limited to that. So we've got guys that they've been working for places where we've delivered and never been in a truck before. They're like, hey, if I go get some experience, I've always wanted to be a truck driver. Can I come drive for you someday? I'm like, absolutely you can.
Wow,
and
that's
we've
pretty cool.
We've had guys that just see our trucks that want to become a truck driver because of that. And I can't touch those guys, but I can sure show them like, hey, you put in 5 years somewhere. We can put you in a truck like this.
That's really cool.
But also I want them to, like when I interview a driver, and there's plenty of drivers out there that I've interviewed, I want to know how their housekeeping is. You know, I don't expect everybody to be a wax the frame rails guy, right? I don't expect everybody to have a pair of socks that they put over the pedals if they have to drive with their shoes on.
If they have to drive with their shoes on.
But we've got some excellent drivers that stuff is important to them, but they still take very good care of the truck. But I want to put the guys that want to wax the frame rails, that are very
are passionate, that it's not just a job.
But we call them like the marquee trucks. You know, we have different levels of trucks too. Everything's a big hood, everything's cool, but you know, if you're not a guy that's really going to go the extra mile on keeping it right and tight, then you're probably not going to be in one of the trucks with a ATG.
And if you're wondering why you're not getting the upgraded and latest cool truck, it's probably you got to step it up a little bit. And don't be jealous of those guys because they earned it. They didn't get it because they kissed the boss's butt. It's because they're earning it and you're noticing it. And
it's how it always shut up with us. You know, like if someone's complaining, you know, and I'm always like, you know me, Mike, I was a football coach for 15 years, and I'm very passionate. I put everything kind of in sports parables, but I was never the coach that was working with the fullback or the guy, the glory guy. I'm working with the offensive lineman, the left guard that didn't pull and should have, or the left tackle that misstepped. So I'm always working with guys that aren't necessarily ecstatic, right? They're like, oh, I'm just not making it here. So I try to coach those guys because I want them to be successful. But at the end of the day, they want to be successful. They have to want it too. And if you're a guy that drives 6-7 hours a day and then wants to go trash around on the truck stop, we're not going to make it. I get a bad rap from those kind of guys that say, oh, you can't make any money there. Well, talk to the other guys.
Absolutely. You know, I don't think I'd be doing this interview justice if we don't get a peek of the inside of the truck. You want to go to the other side and I get on this side? I'll just stand on the running board here. Holy cow. This thing's got the wow factor, dude.
Yeah. Yeah, and it had, when I was a kid, it had brown interior. That actually, my granny made the interior in it, in that version of it.
Yeah.
And when I drove it, it had blue Splendor in it, and I'm not a blue fan. And blue on yellow just didn't look good, but that's what we had, so that's what we ran. Brock has just got this from 2Bs and put it in here last
2Bs, yeah.
like a month ago, and Travis does just excellent work. Great fit.
They
and
did
finish.
my truck, yeah.
Yeah,
my
just love
truck.
it. There's no replacement for
the
that.
light up there.
Yeah, that's, you know, I'm a 60s chopper guy, so that's just one of those
Short
things.
shift. Look at those glow lights.
There we go.
Oh, look at that. This is sexy, man.
It is.
And you got a big hole.
Yeah.
I just realized that.
So this was the first big hole that I did, and I actually really botched the job.
Was it a crawl through when you first had it?
It was what my dad would call a sit-in, right?
Okay.
So it was opened up down here, but it wasn't wide enough for the seats to go back. So, but you could sit in the bunk, and that was a big deal in the 80s, to us anyways.
Yeah.
And find another switch. So we had the what was it? Oh, so we big holed it. So when I big holed it, I just bought a Peterbilt flat top ring, and I didn't do the math on it, and I didn't cut it down so the stock headliner wouldn't work. So all of them that we've done after that, we cut 2 inches out of a Peterbilt flat top ring, and then you can run the stock headliner.
Interesting. And you got the low shifter, which is just, I'm not a tall shifter guy. Like,
Same.
I can't take it. I can't take it seriously. That's just old school cool. I mean, that's really, what's we got for transmission?
13 speed.
13 speed.
Yep.
And you get the upside down steering wheel.
Yeah, that's just our thing.
Yeah, I remember when I got
some
to
people
drive.
just hate that.
You still have that truck I got to drive?
Oh yeah, yep.
I wish I did better. I needed a little more time with that truck.
Oh, I think you did
That
just
was fun,
fine.
though.
You did just
That was
fine.
fun. But dude, awesome. Hey, thank you so much for talking to me. And it's nice knowing you. I wish I could see you more, but hopefully we'll see you around.
Hey, thank you for what you do.
Show. Absolutely.
Let's make trucking great again, right? That's what we're trying to do.
That's right, dude. Yeah. One truck at a time. One lug nut at a time.
Yes, no kidding.
Are the lights on outside the truck?
Yeah, they sure should be.
Take a look. Oh, look at that. See, this is less is more. It's got lights in the rims. Holy cow.
So 69, they didn't have
What'd
front
you say
brakes.
about? Oh, no front brakes.
Yeah.
Well, how do you know if the ABS light's gonna work? Look at that.
You pump it harder.
Yeah. What's the deal with the porch? I love this.
So we've always had drum decks, you know.
Yep.
We called them party deck or whatever. And those West Coast hay haulers, they kind of have their unique little taste to them. You see these little knee boards on them. That's what I call them.
That's really cool.
It just looks cool as hell.
Real with a diamond plate. You got this truck going on.
We did I've been sitting on this idea for a lot of years.
Yeah.
And like, I'm a good grinder, but I'm not a great welder.
Yeah. So
we finally had sent the tanks out to Colin and Jimmy Farrell.
Okay. Yeah.
And we ran tubes. Jimmy figured out how to do it, you know, and he's the wizard. Ran tubes inside so we could run the light through the tube.
Oh, I got a good question for you. Why is the fuel cap on the back here?
Oh, just because it's cool. look how nice that looks from this side. We did that to our 100th anniversary too. Kick the fuel.
Really?
Yeah.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
I love the faded look on the back. It's just like, it gives a charm, you know.
Again, this sleeper is actually an '85 model.
Yeah.
It's a B model sleeper.
Yeah.
But the early Bs had the same radius as the A's. So I got sick of everyone kind of like, oh, you shouldn't have a B model sleeper on an A model, and I agree, but it's just what we had. So we found a A model cap and put it on there, and we don't want to repaint the whole thing because you take all the history from there, and that can be redone. But I mean, that stuff's been on there since probably '83 or '84.
Really?
Yeah. The last time the truck.
That looks like you just painted it.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Wow.
Oh, we had Darren and Dean drop some shadows on it and freshen it up.
That's great. Class of '69, year I was born.
He did that this morning.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah, he did my orange truck as well. I feel like such a heel because the interview, you know, my orange truck was just on the cover of Large Car. And I wanted that to be about Jason Keeler, not so much about us.
Okay.
You know? And we did the interview such a long time ago. The truck hadn't been striped yet. So I didn't even know Darren when I did that interview. So it comes out on Large Car, you know, this last issue, and I didn't give him props on the thing because it was pretty much already written by then, you know.
Well, now you've said it for the world to hear. And,
well, good. I'm glad.
I'm sure you've talked to him.
Oh, he's good.
Yeah,
he is so good.
Yeah.
We saw him last year down here. Have you seen his Capital Freight Line?
I don't know if I've met Jason. I think I have, but I'm not sure.
Jason Keeler?
Yeah.
I would bet that you have.
I'm sure I have.
Yeah, he's a tall drink of water. You
If I met him, I would recognize him. Yeah.
Good guy, excellent guy, very good friend.
All right, it's time for me to move on.
All right,
hey,
sir.
Thank you very much.
Thank you
once again.
Yeah, great to see you.
You too.